Okay, so I'm gonna demonstrate the blackjack design exercise for 608 homework week number 8. So essentially this is a program that runs on the ESP and communicates with a card game API that will simulate a game of blackjack. So here it says blackjack, this is the starting screen, and you press any button to start the game. So if we press the first button, we're greeted with the betting screen. So this is before the hand starts, you make a bet on the hand. So you can use the left button to increase the amount of the bet, and you can use the right button to decrease that amount. We'll start small, you can use 60, and then you use a long button press to confirm. Okay, and now we start the draw sequence, and up on the top we have what the dealer's hand currently is. So we see that the dealer has the Queen of Spades. That's what that means. The first character in that code is what number of the card is. So 1 through 9, 0 would be 10, and then Jack, Queen, King, obviously all 10, and then Ace is either 1 or 0. And the second value in that code is less important, but it refers to the suit, usually not important for blackjack. But we see that the dealer's hand is Queen of Spades and then some other unknown value that's flipped over currently, so we can't see it, just like in real blackjack. And then we can see our current score, which is 440 because we bet 60. We started with 500, so that leaves us with 440, and the current bet is 60. And then on the bottom we have my hand. So in my hand I have the 9 of diamonds and the 8 of spades, which brings my total up to 17. So I guess I would make a decision on what to play. I see he has a queen, so I think it's likely that I'll either have a higher number or that he's gonna bust. So I'm gonna go ahead and press this right button to hold. If I wanted to hit, I would press this left button, but I'll press the right button to hold. Then it turns out he had the Jack of Diamonds, which brings his score up to 20. That means I lost. So now we get back to the betting screen, and my score is now 440. So it didn't go too well, but we'll try again with a bet of 100. So we start the draw sequence and we see already he has an ace. That's unfortunate. So I have a 3 and a 5, which brings my total to 8. So of course I'm going to hit. I got a 4, so that still leaves a good amount of wiggle room. I'm going to go ahead and hit again. I got an ace, so I have to use that as a 1, which brings me up to 13. So let's going to hit again. It brings me up to an 8, so I got a 21. So I'll press the button to hold, and then reveal that he has a 7, so that brings his total up to 17, and that means that I won the hand. And in the rules of blackjack that I found, it stated that the dealer will always end their hand if it's over 17 in point value, and if an ace would put them over that point value, then they have to end their turn. So as we saw there, because he had an ace and I think it was a 6, that brought him up to 17, because you can, or rather it must have been a 5, or whatever the math is, but because of the fact that he was above 17 with the ace counted as an 11, that means that he had to stop. So we'll keep going, show a few more examples. I did pretty well in that last hand, so we'll bet a little bit more. So we start the draw sequence, and so I'm starting off with a 15, he has a 2. So I'm gonna go ahead and try and hit. I'm gonna be a little greedy here. Got a 4, okay. Now, normally I would just stop here, but for the sake of example, I'm going to intentionally overshoot it. So I get a 3, and that gave me a 22, which means that I bust, and so I lost that hand. And so now my score is back down to 400. So let's do another hand. This time I'll bet 150. So he has a queen, I have 9, so I'm going to hit. That brings me up to 19, which is pretty good. So I'll stop there. And he also got a 19, which means we're going to draw. So I'll just get my points back. Okay, so one final example. I can also mention that I have two buttons here. One will increase the bet, one will decrease the bet. All the controls are listed in the Arduino file for testing purposes. So it's at the maximum right now. I can't go over 400, so we're going all in. So we're going to start the sequence. I have 12 because there's a 2 and the 0 represents a 10. And he has an 8, so I'm going to hit. Brings me up to 15. I'm going to hit again. Okay, so that brings me up to 16. I'll hold there. And he overshot it, which means he bust, which brings his total up to 23. And I won the hand. Okay, so finally, I'm going to go ahead and bet everything I have and then intentionally lose to show what happens when you do lose the game. Okay, so I bet everything, start the draw, and I'm just going to keep hitting until I get it until it's 28, so I bust, and I lost, and now I'm out of money, so game over. Game over sends me back to the starting screen, where I can once again press a button to start a new game where you have the initial score that you had before, go through, play another hand. Right, so I start with a 20, that's very good, so I'll just hold that. He got a 19, so I won that hand. And it brings me back to the betting screen for the next hand. So that's all for this design exercise.